Testing, Hawk Tua. Testing! Hey, what's up, you guys? We're here at Kawacon 2025, and we're collecting convention horror stories.
So I was at a convention in 2019, and my best friend was a cosplay judge there. I was wearing Bee from Bee and Puppy Cat, specifically the Space Bakery outfit, which has this weird little diamond piece on top of her little loafer shoe. And I just 3D printed them, and I stuck them onto my shoe using a hair clip. And it was fine, it stayed on, but probably like 40 minutes into me wearing this cosplay, I look down and I notice this shoe diamond is gone, nowhere to be found. Later, I'm sitting in prejudging, watching my best friend do the prejudging for this contest, and a Bakugo cosplayer has it in their wig. They picked it off the ground, and when my best friend was like, "Oh, that's so interesting! How did you make that?" They were like, yeah, I made it, and she said, "Wow, that's so strange because my best friend's been looking for that all day." And we had noticed it at the same time, and I'm sitting in the audience. Her fiance grabs me by my arm because I stand up to go be like, they have my shoe clip. And they like sheepishly hand it over to her and just kind of like walk away dejected. And I got my shoe clip back, but it definitely wasn't another cosplayer's hair, and they tried to pass it off as their own in a competition.
One time, this guy came up to us and told us, little girls, to stay safe.
It was really weird because he I don't know, he looked at us funny and he was like, "This guy, stay safe."
And he had cat ears and a wolf tail.
It was scary. He looked at us.
Yes, it was so sweet, man.
Yeah.
It was so nice. What are you talking about?
And then we never saw him again.
Oh yeah, he disappeared after that.
It was weird.
My convention horror story is actually to do with interviews. I had somebody approach me at the last Kawacon, and I'm so sorry, I'm freezing up.
You're good.
And they approached me and they were like, "Hey, can we do an interview?" And jumped right into it. Didn't even give us any questions or anything, and it was actually really scary because they were expecting us, like, they put the camera in our face and they were expecting us to answer these questions on the spot, and we couldn't do that, so we ended up just shying away, and then they kept pestering us to answer their questions. 0 out of 10, don't recommend.
Hey, I'm Atomic. I've ended conventions full time, and I'm an artist, so I'm usually over in the artist alley. And because I'm an artist, I offer at-site commissions, which is cool. You know, people like ask me to draw whatever. It could be literally anything. I had a guy ask me to draw his car for him, for instance. It could be literally anything. Anyway, so I was at a small hotel convention and like a big, and all the artists were set up in like a big circle, right? And then there were some down the hallway, so it was like a lollipop shape kind of. And so basically I heard stuff going on over at the end of the stick of the lollipop, but we were over in the circle, so I didn't know what was going on. So there was a guy asking every single person, every artist, everybody at a booth, so even like vendors and stuff like that, they were just selling posters and stuff, and he was like, "I want to do a commission." And we were like, "Oh, what for?" You know, just like asking. And he was like, "Toph from Avatar: The Last Airbender." And he was like, and we were like, "Okay." And he was like, "Can you just draw her feet?" And I was like, "No, my commissions are closed now." You know, like, and so basically a bunch of artists were warning each other, "Hey, this guy's going to come around and ask you the same exact question he just asked me." And so basically people kept coming up and go, "Did the Toph guy get to you yet? Did he get to you yet?" And so that's my horror story, basically.
That's crazy. Thank you so much for sharing, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, it happens every once in a while. No big deal. Everyone else is very, very nice, though. I mean, seriously, you can encounter a weirder thing at the grocery store these days, so
that's
no big deal.
Fair. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so me and my partner, who's off screen, we were dressed as Ruby and Penny from RWBY, and we were like, "Oh, this is cute." And this guy came up to us and he was like, "Oh, nuts and dolts, really, really good choice." And we're talking, he seemed normal, and all of a sudden, now note, we were two women. All of a sudden, we see him we see him flip. He goes, "Well, that was a good conversation. By the way, I respect whammon." Turns the water bottle. It's full of hentai stickers. And then that was the end of the conversation. We had to walk off, and I was like, "Okay, interesting."
Yippee-ki-yay.
Okay, so on the first day of this convention, I was wearing my fursuit. Her name's Clover, and we were just kind of like walking around, and I had just put it on, and some guy comes up to us and is like, "Hey," and he taps on my sister's shoulder, and he goes, I like your shirt." And she's like, "Thank you." And he goes, "Can I take a picture with her?" And he points at me. And Catherine goes, "Okay, yeah, you can do that. That's fine." So he comes up and he goes to take the picture and he gives her his phone. And he puts his arm around my waist and pulls me in close to him. And my sister like stops and she looks up to him and he's like, "You gonna change that?" And he just goes, he whispers underneath his breath, he goes, "Take the picture." What? Yeah. She didn't hear it, I heard it, and I was like tensed up, like I didn't know what to do. So we took the picture, and then she grabs me out of the waist, and she pulls me away, and we're like literally running away. And he stops us again, and he pulls out of his hand, he shows us these little like figures. He didn't buy them here, like he brought them in. And he like shows us these figures, like, "Yeah, that's cool, man, like that's great." And then we start walking away again. He's like trying to follow us, and we're like, we got out of there as fast as we could. Like, that's it. But
So yesterday, I was cosplaying Bowsette from Nintendo, but like the fit, whatever. Bowsette from Nintendo, and I was actually with this group of people, and we were just talking, and this guy came up to me and he started talking to me, and he held his hand out like he wanted to shake my hand, and he didn't ask, but I went, "Okay." And he said, "Oh, can I get a hug from Bowsette?" I'm like, "I mean, I'm not really comfortable with hugs, but you could get a photo." And he said, "No, but I really wanted a hug from Bowsette," and then like walked away dragging his feet. I was like, "Okay, I don't know what to do with that." Anyway, that's that.
Okay, so basically, when I was around 13, I was in Susie from Dead by Daylight cosplay, and this older, like maybe in 30-year-old guy in Legion cosplay came up to me and was like, "Oh, by the way, just to know, this is in front of my dad." He was like, "Can you step on me?" So yeah, that's my story. I said no. I definitely said no. And then my dad came up to me. He was like, "What did he ask you?" I was like, "Oh, he asked for a weird picture." Yeah. So.
My turn. Once upon a time, I was at a convention, and you know how like at conventions they have that little box with the foam swords where you like fight people and you LARP. Well, I really like doing that, and so I was doing that, and I was fighting, and I was getting way too into it. I was being a little bit of a sweat, and I hit this girl's headband, and it was like she was cosplaying Freddy Fazbear or something, and I broke it. I broke her headband that she made herself for her cosplay, and I wanted to cry. It was really bad. I was like, "I'm so sorry. I have a glue gun. Take the glue gun. Like, I can fix it. You can fix it. I'm so sorry." And she was really cool and nice about it, but I've yet to live it down in my own head. It was really, really horrific.
Okay, so my first convention, I was going with my mom and another friend, and so they turned a corner, and this one guy came up to me. He's like, "Oh, hey, I love your cosplay." I was doing a My Hero Academia cosplay at the time because My Hero Academia was my favorite anime. And this guy comes up and he like, I have a wig on, and so he's like, "What's the real hair look like?" And he yoinks the wig off, and I'm so scared. And so I'm over here trying to do it, and my friend turns around and like comes over and almost knees him in the gut. And thank goodness for recording, so we didn't get in trouble, but we did get an explanation. He thought I was one of his friends who was also doing a similar cosplay at the time. I was doing a toga cosplay, and we had the same wig apparently, and so he does that to his friend, and he thought I was his friend. poor 10-year-old me had to go through the pain of having my wig ripped off by a random person. So that was my horrific cosplay experience.
So the thing is, I'm an aspiring voice actor, and I've been going around trying to meet new people and like explore cosplaying so that I could get into more things centered around media and make a name for myself. Kind of. I also used to do VTubing, so things have kind of just been a mess recently. I recently went to San Japan last year, and I was doing a voice impression for the character I was cosplaying, Riko Amanai from Jujutsu Kaisen. The thing is, I was also wearing Gojo's glasses. At the time, people were chasing me around for some reason, or at least I think they heard me doing an impression, and they just kept awkwardly approaching me and like going over to me and trying to grab my glasses from my hands. So I managed to like get away, and by the time it was the time I was about to leave the con, I was walking out the doors and I saw those people again just like in the distance, and they were just like staring at me. It was just this group of My Hero Academia cosplayers, Bakugo, Shoto, and I think Kirishima. They all just like simultaneously started to try and walk towards me, and I wasn't sure what these guys wanted because they never particularly said anything to me. So I instinctively just like booked it down the road. I tried to lead them to the police station, but whenever I turned back around, they just were absolutely gone. So I don't particularly know if okay, I'm losing track, but I hope that every single one of you watching this video will stay safe and that you all have a really nice day. Please do watch out for people and make sure to call help if you need it. Bye bye.
All right, so mine was that I think it was my very first San Japan, and it was the first time I had ever brought my Princess Celestia cosplay out into the public. And I was like so excited. I was like a baby cosplayer. I had been cosplaying for like less than a year. And I brought my Princess Celestia cosplay. We literally walked in. I was with my family too. I was with my mom and my dad. And we walked in to the convention. And we were trying to look for like badge registration. And before we could even like figure out the directions, this like really older, kind of like greasy dude came up to me. And without any kind of warning, just asked me in character like where Luna was and what I did with her, and I was like, what? I was like, I'm sorry, who are you and why are you asking me that? I don't even remember like how I responded to that because I think I blocked it out of my memory. But yeah, I've had a lot of interactions like that where like people will try to talk to me like in character when they don't know me, and so that's like actually a rule for me and my friends now, is my friends will stay with me and they're like, don't do that because it makes me so uncomfortable. But yeah, that's my horror story.
So I think this is like back in 2015, 14. I was at San Japan, and it was like my first ever like convention that I've gone to, and I was passing by like all of the tabletop games, and I was just looking at the cards and like all the Magic stuff, and as I was walking away, I was like, this dude came up to me, he's like, oh, are you interested in playing? I'm like, oh no, I just wanted to see what was going on. And then he grabbed me by my wrist. Mind you, I was probably like 11 or 12, and he was like, well, maybe I can teach you. I'm like, no thanks, and I just ran to the dealer's room.
That's really horrific.
Yeah, it was interesting. I hope I never see that person again.
Me too.